The Anglican Church is challenging parents on this Mother's Day. The promoter of a major Mother's Day show is promising a bigger post-COVID event. And in sports, a senior West Indies player says the T20 format was tailor-made for Windies-style cricket.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom, and this is Newsday. The traditional Mother's Day church services were moved online as churches across Barbados celebrated All Mothers today. The Anglican Church is challenging parents to pray often for understanding, patience, and skill. The Mothers Union has extended a helping hand as it stands ready to assist through its various programs. Well, Mothers Union Diocesan President Sister Joycelyn Seeley says children are the Lord's possession who are assigned by God to parents.
We as parents should thank and praise God for each of our children, each of those gifts He has given to us. Children as a reward conveys the idea of appreciation, of pleasure, and of joy. Children are never to be viewed as a sign of God's displeasure. Wise parents and grandparents and godparents take pleasure in children. Children bring joy into our lives.
Well, Sister Seeley has also dismissed several misconceptions about the Mothers Union.
Two of the myths about the Mothers Union that are hindering the development of programs and participation of some of the younger mothers in our program. The Mothers Union is for married women only. Myth number one. The Mothers Union is for all women. Myth number two. What we must remember, there are things and there are persons that are willing to assist us in the training and development of our children.
Sunday also signaled the start of Home and Family Week, and the Anglican Church is also recognizing Child Month, which is observed nationally. Over at the Roman Catholic Church, Father Clement Paul impressed on children to treasure their mothers.
I know sometimes you find them a little miserable and troublesome because they make you do things you don't like to do. You got to do your homework. Not do your home. You got to make sure you do the work. You get to school in the sense you go to and do the work, and you pay attention and you read, and something make you eat what you don't like to eat, greens and all them kind of things, and then they take up your clothes from the floor and got to do chores. I know that, but and you know something, that because they love you, they love you so much, even when they're punishing you. So boys and girls, wish them happy Mother's Day. Love them, eh?
Well, the COVID-19 curfew curtailed just about all of the usual Mother's Day activities, as various restaurants and even the beaches, for the most part, remained under lockdown. The annual Mother's Day show, Mum, This One Is For You, was also affected. It had to be called off due to the viral illness, but promoter Desmond Weeks has promised to make up with a bigger and better show come next year. Speaking to CBC News earlier today, Mr. Weeks said while disappointed, the show's team understood the importance of ensuring patrons' safety. He says the show, which is in its 20th year, has allowed many patrons to make new friends and catch up with some old ones.
This year, we cannot do nothing like that, so we have to postpone it and until a further date, until this thing is over with, we don't know when it is going to be over with, So I think that the decision that we made was to just leave it there for this year.
Mr. Weeks says the team will lose thousands of dollars as a result of not staging the show.
Any promoter will tell you that there is a lot of finance losses that you would incur, because you don't wait till 2 weeks before a show to do a show. You have to prepare yourself with lighting, sound, and we like to use the best We like to give the Barbadian mothers the best, so we start from early.
Mr. Weeks says despite its cancellation, the organizers still intend to honor the island's hardworking mothers and will give away several food hampers later in the week. No new cases of COVID-19 were recorded from among the 64 tests carried out by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory yesterday. This means the national total of cases remains at 84 as of today. The number in isolation is still 20, with 57 having recovered so far. 7 deaths have been recorded and 2,990 tests have been carried out since the process began. Barbadians have been applying for certificates to burn items as mandated by the Barbados Fire Service, but not always with a legitimate reason. Starting April 1st, Barbadians were required to purchase a $150 burn permit in order to use an open flame outside of the house. Well, Chief Fire Officer ERROL MAYNARD says the applications have been coming in, and he gave an example of some of the reasons.
We've had in excess of 900 fires already for the year, and the majority are grass fires. And it seems as though people are burning just for the sake of burning. As a matter of fact, just this week we had a number of members of the public who came in and said that they wanted permits to burn. On interview, it was discovered, one person said that, look, I want to burn because my neighbor called the police on me, and I like to burn, so I just want to burn, irrespective of what the effect on others were. So we just asking the public not to burn. It might seem excited, but it is dangerous.
The chief was speaking as fire officers were going through mop-up exercises after they got a small blaze at Starcom Network on River Road in the city under control. Mr. Maynard says they received a call around 10 minutes after 9 saying that 2 storerooms were on fire. He explains 15 officers responded to the blaze under the command of Divisional Officer Ernie Fields.
They had to use force entry to get into the building. It is currently under control. We're in the mop-up stages right now. It took a little longer than anticipated because the roof is made of asbestos. So we had to take our time in removing some of them in order to get the CD to fire.
In the meantime, Property Development Officer and Facilities Manager for the Nation Group, Frank Griffith, says while there was some damage to the property, all staff members were safe and accounted for.
When we arrived on site, we noticed that the storeroom, where we generally kept our supplies, and an area where we kept files, and an area where we kept most of our equipment of outside broadcast was on fire. Fire service was alerted, and they were already on site. And so far, everything has been contained, and we're looking forward to going forward and seeing exactly what happens from here. We haven't had an opportunity to even get into the rooms and determine exactly what is damaged or completely damaged or not. So hopefully during the course of the week we'll be able to do that.
The headquarters of the National Assistance Board will reopen its doors for business on Tuesday, May 12th. That's according to a joint statement from the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs and the National Union of Public Workers. It was closed 2 weeks ago after 5 administrative staff members tested positive for COVID-19. Since then, 1 other staff member from headquarters, as well as a staff member from the Home Health Program, tested positive for the viral illness. The statement is assuring the public the premises have been thoroughly cleaned and sanitized, and that staff members have been exiting quarantine and isolation with clean bills of health, as certified by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Although Caribbean economies are not yet in recession, a senior CARICOM official suggests they are transitioning to that phase. According to Assistant Secretary General for Trade and Economic Integration Joseph Cox, the revenue flows of many countries have been affected due to COVID-19.
It's technically 2 consecutive quarters of decline. This thing is 6 weeks to 2 months old, so we cleared out. But it is likely, it's very, very likely, don't get me wrong, it's very, very likely to get there. So that is where we're at now. You have a lot of countries, the revenue programs have been significantly compromised. There's significant fallout in terms of revenue. So you were going to see some challenges there. And it's a part of the public record where some countries have already indicated to the public sector that they may have to constrain payment of wages.